I've had quite a few questions about this watch box over on Reddit and a few on here, so I thought I'd do a brief overview of what I think about this box. I'll kick off by saying that although I think it is a great watch box, it does actually have some shortcomings. I spent far too many hours researching boxes, and I even ended up sending two back due to quality issues and some things that I really didn't like. However, this one doesn't have those particular issues. When I received the Rothwell from Amazon, it was well presented in this nicely branded and well executed packaging. And here is the box itself. So clearly this is a rectangular 6-slot box, which is perfect for me. However, they do various other sizes, including 10 and 12 slots. They also do a variety of watch winders, rolls, travel cases, all that type of thing. So the external dimensions of the box, it's 9.5 inches long and 9.5 inches wide, with a height of 5.25 inches, which is this way here. The bottom drawer has a height of around 1.25 inches of clearance, which is perfect for keeping a dozen or so watch straps, tools, toolbars, all that type of thing. As you can see, my organised mess that's in here. One thing that really bugged me about the other two watch boxes that I sent back was how far away the watches were when looking through the glass. The lids were really deep and it had huge separation between the glass and the watches, which I really hated how it looked when I peered in to admire my watches. But this one doesn't have that issue at all, and the watches actually sit a lot closer to the lid. There's only maybe a couple of inches between the glass and the watches themselves, which actually presents the watches much nicer. Inside there is plenty of room for each watch, even those on the larger side, and there is a nice bit of padded separation between each watch slot. According to the product description, it allows for up to 60mm watches, but I've only personally tested up to 41 because it's the largest watch that I have. So if I quickly pop on my Oris Pro Pilot and put it back in the watch recess, you'll see that there's plenty of room around here to allow for bigger watches. The main construction appears to be made of something like an MDF wood and has a faux leather covering, which is of decent enough quality, but there is card used in some areas on this box. For example, the inner sections of the watch recess, which isn't great, but it doesn't affect the functionality too much. Just make sure you don't press on these areas. If I pull it a bit closer, you'll see that there's card running around here too. It's not all premium materials used on this box. As I mentioned, the box is covered in a PU leather, and other areas like the watch recesses and the pillows, there is a grey kind of felt material used here. In 99% of places it's done well, but there are a couple of imperfections where some of the faux leather has been trimmed a little bit short and not stuck properly, which was relatively disappointing when I actually spotted this. However, it's usually tucked in these corners around here, which over time might start to come away, but hasn't been a problem for me to date. I believe that the lid is a thick perspex, certainly not glass, and generally the construction of the box overall is nice and it is solid. If I lift it up here, you'll see the metal finishings, which are done nicely. As you can see, the lock and the handle there. Same applies to the reverse and where the hinge is. The hinge opens nicely, no issues. As you can see, the textured faux leather here too, as well as the stitching, which is done nicely as well. The lock mechanism I don't often use, however, when I do use it, it seems to work sufficiently. I haven't had any issues. I have read on the reviews that sometimes that can break, but as you can see here, it's locked and then it's unlocked. Moving on to the cushions, these unfortunately do let the box down. If I show you an example of a couple of cushions that I've had issues with. As you can see here, this is already starting to fray and come away. If I show you some of the other pillows as well, see here, it's all starting to come away at the sides. So I've only had this box for around 4 months, so it is quite disappointing to see that. And if you see the cushions in person, it's pretty obvious that the quality isn't the same as the rest of the box. The padding sort of feels like tissue paper in places. If I bring it close, you might be able to hear it. And then the sides here are also made of card. There's a serious lack of padding on these cushions, and I imagine that over time these aren't going to stand up very well, and I might need to replace them. However, they do fit quite snugly within the recesses, and when a watch is actually sat on one of the cushions, they do stay in place and they fit nicely. One of the other boxes that I received, they really didn't, and they used to move around. The watch would move as you put it in, and none of them would really sit straight. However, when the watches are in here, they all fit and they all line up nicely. There are plenty of cheap watch boxes out there that look great in photos, but as I came to find out, aren't so nice in person after sending a couple back and ending up with this one. This box does look really good and I am happy with it, but I do think that it's priced too high for what you're getting, especially when there are cheap materials used in the construction and how the pillows are made. However, the box does look classy and does look more expensive than it actually is. So if you do buy this box, just don't expect too much in terms of the durability and the actual quality. So that's it for this one. If you found this video informative or helpful, please give it the thumbs up. My channel is a hybrid of watch content and a restoration of an 80s Porsche 911, so if you like either of those things, please subscribe. Ciao for now.